Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Office Blow Daz.
Office Blow Aidan.
Here we are on the Sports Edition.
Yes.
10 NFL teams that have no chance at making the playoffs this coming season.
Ooh, that's harsh. You can't rule out any team for making the playoffs.
Who would you sort of like think is stand out to sort of like say, nah, I'm not making it? Falcons?
Cardinals?
Saints?
Maybe. Just Chargers?
It's pretty easy really, isn't it?
Nah, because
Cowboys.
you never know. Cowboys will make it, but then they'll lose in the first round.
First round, yeah.
Should we have a look anyway?
Yeah, go for it, yeah. 10 NFL teams that have no chance of making the playoffs.
Looking deep, taking a shot downfield for Tyreek. Underthrown, intercepted.
2 months after the 2023 NFL Draft, we published a video of 10 NFL teams that we thought had zero shot at making the playoffs. Suffice to say, our picks didn't age so well. 5 of the 10 teams on our list, the Los Angeles Rams, Green Bay Packers, Houston Texans, Cleveland Browns, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, wound up making the postseason. Alright, joke's on us. But for this year's edition, we're highly confident that we'll get at least 8 of these right. So, let's try this again as we dive into 10 NFL teams that...
Probably the Patriots as well, really. Like the Cardinals, Giants, Patriots, Titans maybe. Panthers maybe, yeah. Panthers are going to be one of them teams that you just kind of don't know.
Commanders,
they'll probably be another one.
Have no shot at making the playoffs in 2024.
With the Vikings.
Minnesota Vikings.
Oh.
No mistake, we love the J.J. McCarthy fit in Minnesota. He has the skill set to be this team's long-term answer at quarterback, and it's hard to complain of a supporting cast that features Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, and Jordan Addison. But folks, the Vikings aren't eyeing immediate title contention in 2024. This is a retooling year for Kevin O'Connell's squad. If they wanted to compete next season, the Vikings would have found a better bridge QB option than Sam Darnold. Yes, Minnesota has the firepower to be a competitive team. We saw that last year when they squeaked out 7 wins despite using 4 different quarterbacks. But Darnold and a rookie QB are not going to turn Minnesota into a playoff contender this year.
I disagree.
Ooh.
I think JJ is going to be a standout.
Really? I think he's a good quarterback, but how often does a rookie go to the postseason? Not that often.
Texans last year.
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud. Yeah. Didn't Jalen Hurts do it as well?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if he went in his what's it, but I've got a feeling he's going to be all right.
Yeah, I think he will, but I think it's one of them that it won't happen in the first season.
I think I'm going to sit these as going to the playoffs.
Okay.
There are still holes on the offensive line and on the defense, too. You know, that very defense that lost its best player, Danielle Hunter, in free agency, the makeup of the mini roster isn't even the main reason that we have them on this list. It's mostly because of the division that they play in.
But then again, I was just going to say that. The division they play in is tough, but they've also just lost Kirk Cousins as well. And if you're going to do it with Kirk Cousins, what are you going to do with JJ if you can't do it with Kirk Cousins? But
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I've got a feeling these are going to be all right. I think young team, and I think they'll perform.
See, both the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers are Super Bowl contenders. And the Chicago Bears should make plenty of noise with Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, and Keenan Allen coming aboard. The Vikings are easily the worst team in their own division, one that might feature 3 postseason teams. If there is one team in the NFC North who's going to be picked on by its opponents, it's gonna be Minnesota. Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers have been held back by an inexplicable issue for almost 2 decades now. They boast one of football's most talented rosters every single year, and yet this team somehow always is held back by inept coaching. Well, that problem appears to finally be addressed with the hiring of ex-Michigan Wolverines head coach Jim Harbaugh. This very man took over a hapless San Francisco 49ers team in 2011 and turned them into an NFL powerhouse. Why can't he eventually do the same with a Bolts team featuring cornerstones Justin Herbert, Joey Bosa, Derwin James Jr., and Joe Alt? Oh, we think he will. I mean, the Harbaugh hiring will definitely make a difference over the long run. But we're specifically talking about the 2024 season for this list. And the Chargers just aren't ready to make that jump to playoff contender just yet. They dumped their 2 best receivers, Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, and didn't bring back star running back Austin Eckler. Clearly, Harbaugh and GM Joe Ortiz view this as a year of transition with a new-look roster. The Bolts were mostly quiet in free agency and the trade market, waiting until the draft to select Georgia's Ladd McConkey as a potential WR1 with the number 34 pick. So, unless McConkey or Quentin Johnston step up and produce immediately, Herbert is not going to have any help. And since we're penciling in the Kansas City Chiefs as the AFC West champions, who do you see the Bolts realistically stealing a wild card spot from? The AFC North has 4 teams that can all contend for the Super Bowl. The AFC South produced 3 winning teams last year. The AFC East has the Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, and a returning Aaron Rodgers to lead the New York Jets. There are just way too many star-studded teams in the AFC with much deeper rosters than the Chargers. The playoffs will eventually return to La La Land with Harbaugh steering the ship, but not in 2024.
Fair point.
New England Patriots. The Patriots are in the early stages of a hard reset. Bill Belichick is gone after an illustrious 24-year run, and it's now Jared Mayo in charge of restoring the Patriots' winning ways. Without question, the 2024 Patriots look way better than the 2023 group. Whether it's rookie Drake May or veteran Jacoby Brissett at QB, either of these guys promises to be an upgrade over the Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi tandem from last year. Not to mention that a healthy 2023 first-rounder Christian Gonzalez will solidify the secondary after missing most of his promising rookie year. But make no mistake, this is still a super flawed team that is, well, a long way away from contending again. They still have the league's worst set of offensive skill position guys, and Mike Onwenu is the only rock-solid starter on that offensive line. It's hard to see Brissett or May winning without a single Pro Bowl caliber offensive weapon. Jalen Polk is an unproven rookie. Kendrick Bourne, KJ Osborne, and Juju Smith-Schuster are nothing close to being WR1s. Tight end Hunter Henry gets you 500 or so yards a season, but his numbers are never flashy. Throw in the fact that the Patriots reside in an AFC with not 1, not 2, but 3 potential Super Bowl contenders, and yeah, this is going to be another long year for a team entering year 5 of the post-Tom Brady era.
I kind of agree with them two so far, the LA and New England.
Yeah.
I kind of think I'm just unsure about the Vikings. I get what they're saying, but I'm just unsure. It's a strong division, so. But I think I'm kind of agreeing with them two, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Patriots had an awful season last season.
Yeah.
And I think it'd just be as long this season as well.
I think so as well.
Washington Commanders. Make no mistake, the Commanders are on the right track. Dan Quinn and Adam Peters were perfect hires as head coach and GM respectively. The Commanders aced free agency and have their hopeful franchise QB in LSU's Jaden Daniels, the number 2 pick of this year's draft. But Rome wasn't built in a day, and the Commanders are not building a Super Bowl contender in just a matter of months. But you know, they'll actually at least be fun to watch in 2024. However, the playoffs are a bit of a pipe dream for Quinn's squad. We're totally buying the hype on Daniels, but like most first-year quarterbacks, he's going to experience growing pains as a rookie. Also, the defense remains a work in progress now that Washington is about to endure a full season without Chase Young or Montez Sweat. The Commanders also reside in the NFC East with 2 shoe-in playoff teams on the Philadelphia Eagles and Dallas Cowboys. So let's assume that the Atlanta Falcons, San Francisco 49ers, and Detroit Lions win their respective divisions. Can you really see Washington stealing a wild card spot from one of Philly and Dallas and the Los Angeles Rams, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, New Orleans Saints, Seattle Seahawks, Packers, or Bears? No. We don't either. The Commanders are a year or 2 away from actually emerging as a playoff team in the NFC. Tennessee Titans. At first glance, the Titans should be better in 2023 after finishing 6-11, their worst record since 2015. They signed star wide receiver Calvin Ridley and Tyler Boyd, as well as 2-time 1,000-yard rusher Tony Pollard in free agency. They traded for ex-Kansas City Chiefs star tight end L'Jarius Sneed and addressed the woeful O-line by using the number 7 pick on J.C. Latham. Oh, and quarterback Will Levis should be even better in year 2 after a pretty decent rookie year. So, why do we have the Titans on this list if improvement feels inevitable in 2024? Well, you see, they play in an AFC South division featuring 3 teams who all finished above 500 last year. And all of them, the Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts, and Jacksonville Jaguars, all made several blockbuster moves to strengthen their rosters. Like the Vikings in the NFC North, the Titans are the 4th best team in a very unforgiving division. Someone has to take all the punches in the AFC South, and the Titans look like they'll be that team. Levis is still unproven.
Yeah, he went to the Ravens, didn't he?
Derrick Henry's gone to the Ravens, I think. Was it the Ravens he went?
Yeah.
Yeah, so lost him as well. But I think, again, I'm not sure about the Titans. It's But I think they probably would. I think they're probably right that they're not going to have no chance of making the playoffs. But they've got that outside chance that they could sneak in.
It's one of them. It's like you just don't know.
You don't. Yeah. Well, you kind of got a good inkling and a good idea. But I think Titans might be a bit stronger than Jacksonville.
Especially when you like Titans isn't really the best example. But when you've got like a new quarterback coming in for like the Patriots or something like Drake May, how do you know that? Like, you can't say they have no chance when you don't really know how they're going to perform. Really, if you think about it.
I'm just unsure about.
Considering they got 5 wrong last time, I'm not listening to this at all.
I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders, but I think they might hit the playoffs.
No, yeah, none of these are Super Bowl contenders, mate.
Defense still has its flaws even after the Snead trade, and the O-line, which was ranked as football's worst by Pro Football Focus for 2023, isn't going to change overnight no matter how J.C. Latham fares as a rookie. Tennessee's rebuild is on the right path, but the odds of them making the playoffs in 2024 are as high as the next Star Wars trilogy being even half as good as the original one. So, in other words, not good. Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals won 4 games in year 1 under Jonathan Gannon. That actually felt like an accomplishment given the lack of roster talent and the fact that Kyler Murray missed most of the year. Arizona is doing the right thing by patiently rebuilding without any shortcuts. They'll reap the rewards of using the number 4 selection on Ohio State product Marvin Harrison Jr., who could be the NFL's best wide receiver in short time. But no, the Cardinals are far from ready to make some noise in the NFC. Murray, Harrison Jr., and Trey McBride are a nice foundation to build the offense around, yes. But the rest of the roster is loaded with question marks. Arizona's offensive line is still a work in progress, and the defense has 0 game changers outside of Pro Bowl safety Budda Baker. Again, that's fine. Austin Fort isn't wasting money in free agency, nor is he making unnecessary trades. He's rebuilding this team through the draft. The Cardinals will improve their win total from last year, but the playoffs, they're gonna be well out of reach. Not only because the division isn't good enough, but let's just keep in mind that they play in an unforgiving NFC West with the Super Bowl hopeful 49ers and 2 other playoff contenders in the Rams and Seahawks. Denver Broncos. The Broncos won 8 games last season with Russell Wilson, Jerry Jeudy, and all-pro safety Justin Simmons on their roster. With those 3 now out of the picture, the Broncos promise to take a major step back in 2024. Yes, it is absolutely necessary. The Broncos had to start from scratch considering that Sean Payton never seemed sold on Russell Wilson as his QB. But of course, starting from scratch also means preparing to suck for at least a couple of years. Yeah. The Broncos will have a QB room now.
Oh, I forgot about Bo Nix going there.
Yeah. One of them teams, all the Broncos, where they dominated with like John Elway and people out over the years, and then sort of like just kind of like went by the wayside and never really sort of like established themselves again as like a, I wouldn't say they've gone as a, I don't know, like a superpower of the game, if you know what I mean. They kind of when you watch NFL now as like as a foreigner watching it,
they're never a team
like
that
irrelevant,
stands out,
aren't they? Yeah. Shame because they were such a dominant force when I used to watch it years ago.
It's what happens in this sport, though,
it does,
isn't it?
Yeah. That's what I like
get
about
good
it.
and then they're bad, and then they're good and then they're bad.
Yeah. It's a good cycle of competition, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now of Bo Nix, Jarrett Stidham, and Zach Wilson. This already mediocre offense will now be without Jeudy, and the defense lost one of its few difference makers in Simmons. So, yes, the Broncos will be bad in 2024. It doesn't matter who the QB is, you just aren't gonna get much done with this wide receiver core. The defense has little talent outside of all-pro corner Patrick Surtain. And as we said on the Chargers slide, the Broncos cannot realistically expect to steal a wildcard berth from the plethora of contenders in the AFC. Add it all up, and Denver's playoff drought will extend by another year. This team is far from ready to make that next jump. Carolina Panthers. The Panthers have done a nice job reshaping the offense around Bryce Young following his disastrous rookie year. But let's all hold our horses and not get too carried away just yet. Yes, the O-line will be better following the signings of Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt in free agency. Young's arsenal of weapons was also bolstered big time thanks to the Deontay Johnson trade and the draft selections of Xavier Legette, Jonathan Brooks, and Jatavian Sanders. But there is no guarantee that all those moves will actually pan out, at least not right away. Carolina's already awful defense just got worse with the losses of Brian Burns, Jeremy Chin, Frankie Louvu, and Yetur Gross-Matos. We expect Young to make progress in year 2, but the Panthers still lacked star power across the board and depth on defense to go from 2 to 10 wins, assuming that the latter mark is what it takes to be a playoff team. New York Giants. The Giants had an interesting offseason, to say the least. They watched star run.
I think the Giants are generally going to be the worst team next season, like the worst record.
I've got hopes for the Panthers as well. I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but I think they'll do a lot better than the two. They only won 2 games last season, didn't
Well,
they?
I mean, it's very hard to do worse.
Yeah, it is. But I've got hopes that they'll sort of like be a I don't know, maybe 6-10 type thing.
Well, 6-11.
6-11. Yes, it's.
That's dog shit.
He's saying there's no guarantee they're going to gel. Not in the first year. There's no guarantee they're not going to gel. There's no guarantee they will gel.
Yeah,
very true. They might happen. He might kick in and they might be on fire.
Yeah.
Running back Saquon Barkley will leave for the arch-rival Philadelphia Eagles in free agency. They spent little in free agency, but made a big splash by acquiring star pass rusher Brian Burns via trade with the Carolina Panthers. And despite never-ending rumors that they wanted to take a QB in round 1, the Giants used the number 6 pick on LSU's Malik Neighbors and chose to give Daniel Jones one last chance to prove himself. What could possibly go wrong? The Giants barely touched
I wanted a quarterback, mate. We could have taken a very good quarterback. We had quite a high. Do you know what I mean?
I'm alright with giving Jones a chance, though.
I think next season you'll be regretting that choice.
Maybe.
Atrocious offensive line and their already mediocre defense lost standout safety Xavier McKinney to the Packers in free agency. But yes, GM Joe Shane deserves credit for not wasting money in free agency the way that his predecessor Dave Gettleman did. But it's also hard to see how the Giants drastically improve from their disappointing 2023 win total of 6. Jones is a bottom-tier QB. The O-line stinks, and the defense doesn't have any strengths. Oh well, at least the Giants are set up to tank for a top QB prospect in the 2025 draft. Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders had some splashy additions this offseason, namely ex-Miami Dolphins star defensive tackle Christian Wilkins and can't-miss prospect and Georgia tight end Brock Bowers. But the Raiders still have a quarterback problem. Dumping Jimmy Garoppolo was the right move, but do they really think that Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew will be the answer? We don't think so. Not overpaying for Josh Jacobs was most certainly the right call, but it's hard to argue that their offense is any better without the 2022 rushing champion. They have no real strengths, but no fatal flaws. They'll win 7 to 9 games, but they ain't making the playoffs with an O'Connell-Minshew QB tandem. But hey, which other NFL teams have no shot at making the playoffs in 2024?
Yeah, we kind of I think we agreed on most of them.
Yeah.
Even the Giants, I can't see the Giants. I think the Giants are going to.
I think the Giants win less than 4. Well, I reckon the Giants win about 3 to 4 games.
I know what you're saying about Jones as well. He's. I just think you give him another chance on what they said there. Then go for a high pick in the draft for a top quarterback in the next draft.
Yeah, but there was a lot this draft.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot every draft, but there's be a lot. There'll be some coming through as well.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be.
Maybe they've got their eyes set on a different quarterback for next year.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. They've probably got their eyes set on someone they want. They want to see him come through and then and get him next season.
Maybe.
But just keep hold of Jones for the time being. Don't waste the money, like you say. Interesting, though. It's be interesting to see the ones who might win the Super Bowl.
Probably the Chiefs.
Yeah, you can't see past the Chiefs really.
No,
the usual sort of suspects, isn't it? 49ers, Chiefs, Eagles, Bills, Lions.
Maybe.
Yeah. But can't wait for it to start again now. Now our season's coming to an end, to a close. 1 more game left.
Yeah,
or 2 if you count the cup. But enjoyed that. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers.